Thank you. It is such an honor to receive this award, and this talk is for you. HIPAA, the EU regulation, Gramm-Leach-Bliley, the safe harbor, data breach notification laws, Fourth Amendment cases, the European Court of Justice, the patchwork US legislative approach, the omnibus European model.
For decades, privacy discussion has focused on laws governing treatment of personal information, privacy on the books, what it says and what it should say.
But until now, we've had precious little insight into how those words we've argued so passionately about actually shape the behavior of the companies that handle so much of our data. What affects their understanding of privacy's meaning? What influences the practices they have or don't have that they put in place to protect privacy?
So we looked under the hood to see what really mattered. Our Privacy on the Ground project looked at the corporate privacy leaders of 5 different countries: the United States, Germany, France, Spain, and the UK. We did scores of interviews with chief privacy and data protection officers, with engineers, with lawyers, with advocates, and regulators. And it turns out that all of this discussion about privacy on the books, all of these articles, these debates, these hearings, they missed something crucial about what really matters.
They missed you. They missed the crucial role of the privacy professional. It turns out that privacy professionals like you, your roles, your respective levels of power and influence within the firms, your level of access to your boards and senior management, your activities outside the firm, the way you interact with the broader field of privacy experts, including regulators, advocates, professional groups, and your peers, communities like these, are often the factors that determine whether firms have robust processes in place to protect privacy robustly.
Our book begins with the story of Yahoo's 2004 disclosure to the Chinese government of dissident journalist Shi Tao's identity as the author of an email critical of Beijing. Now that revelation led to Shi's imprisonment. It spawned widespread public condemnation and US congressional hearings. These condemnations were felt in boardrooms throughout Silicon Valley and beyond. Now flash forward a number of years and we see Yahoo in a pitched yet secret battle, opposing the NSA's demands to turn over customer information under their warrantless internet surveillance program. That time, the company did the right thing and was celebrated.
But why the change? The law on the books looked remarkably similar. But the company had changed dramatically. It had empowered and resourced its privacy and law enforcement staff. It had launched a business and human rights program covering privacy and freedom of expression. It had built Privacy In. And when the government came knocking, this time, Yahoo was ready to engage in an important discussion about the interplay between privacy and surveillance.
And Yahoo's corporate evolution reflects broader shifts that we found in our research. We got a window into an incredible time because what you do now is really special. Our work documents the development of an emerging set of global privacy best practices, arising most robustly in the United States and Germany, and all centered around a particular type of chief privacy or data protection officer.
The critical attribute of these privacy officers is that they span boundaries. They do this in 3 related ways. First, their work literally spans the boundaries of the firm itself. The leading privacy professional spends as much of her time outside as inside. This outward focus enables her to translate the uncertain and dynamic requirements of privacy as it's repeatedly reshaped by regulators and advocates and consumers. And it helps mitigate risks and avoids the firm being blindsided by this constantly changing privacy environment. Having one foot firmly planted outside the corporation while the other inside enhances the CPO's independence and importance, and it allows them to be the strategic interpreter of this very complex and evolving environment.
And second, because the CPO's role in mediating between external privacy demands and internal corporate privacy practices, their work inside the organization also spans strategy, privacy as strategy, and operations, privacy as management. So on the one hand, their expertise in helping the firm translate the external landscape helps secure a place at the table when corporate decisions are made. And it helps to ensure a strategic role for the CPO, often from within the C-suite. And on the other hand, privacy leaders must operationalize privacy all the way down, evolving best practices of making privacy part of management through distributed expertise. The privacy function can't just be siloed in one individual or compliance unit. Privacy decision-making must be integrated into technology design, business line processes. And privacy expertise and responsibility must be distributed to staff who are embedded within business units so that it can be brought to bear from the inside throughout the development of data-intensive processes and systems.
Third, the leading privacy professional spans the boundary between the firm's expertise and that of society. They bring specialized expertise and knowledge about their firms and deep working relationships within it, yet at the same time, they bring privacy commitments from outside, drawn from membership in a community like this one, built from the knowledge of private sector leaders, government experts, advocates, and the public. They are, in many ways, the moral conscience within the firm, literally bringing the outside perspective inside to affect firm thinking.
And this all raises the question, where do we go from here? To be sure, the privacy profession will continue to grow. The GDPR alone is expected to necessitate 20,000 new privacy and data protection officer jobs over just the next 3 years. And this will certainly increase the trend of making privacy part of management within firms. But this growth also creates challenges.
Managerializing privacy is a positive development, no doubt. Yet, as more resources are dedicated to making privacy part of core operations, how do we make sure that privacy leadership, the role, doesn't lose its special character? How do we make sure it doesn't get boring, managerialized in a bad way, bureaucratized? How do we keep it sexy and cutting edge and strategic?
And as privacy professionals become more and more integrated into firm management, how do we make sure that you remain boundary spanning, independent, fully in the firm, but not solely of the firm?
Some answers can be found in two changes that began to emerge just as we finished our research. First, subjects who've called themselves chief privacy officers or data protection officers at the beginning of our research now have an expanded portfolio, and in some instances new titles reflecting this increased breadth of responsibility. Your strategic role is evolving. It includes all kinds of information governance and policy issues, fairness, ethics, machine learning, big data.
And as the toehold of societal values within the firm, the CPO's portfolio is dynamic and generative, so well equipped to address these new problems and new challenges to values. Seizing the opportunity of this expanded set of opportunities will maintain the strategic salience of privacy, other values, and the CPA role itself.
Second, privacy is becoming more interdisciplinary. Senior engineers are partnering with CPOs to create high-level cross-functional privacy teams. Privacy by design is becoming real. The leadership teams expand the voices speaking for privacy, and they expand your work and the depth of it throughout your organizations.
The privacy professional community has built a path-breaking model for dealing with the challenges of the information age, melding strategy and operations, spanning outside commitments and internal legitimacy, bringing the outside in. As the age of information is transformed by machine learning, artificial intelligence, and technologies we've yet to even dream of, these are the models that will serve us well. Thank you.
Thank you.